to be looking at before that is the symmetry of shapes, because shapes are actually made up of other shapes. Okay, and we're going to be looking at what this actually means. Okay, now if you guys look at the shape, this first shape that I'm going to name A over here, can you guys tell me in the chat, what kind of shape is that? Anybody tell me what kind of shape it is? I'm going to need you to either type it in the chat or raise your hand. Milani, I see you. Okay, great. Juria says it's a irregular shape. Many people are saying it's a trapezoid, and I agree. It is a trapezoid. It's just an upside down trapezoid, if you guys are looking at it carefully. That's okay, Melissa, welcome. Okay, so now, symmetry is if I take one shape, okay, and I'm going to fold this shape in half, okay? Fold this shape in half. And when I fold the shape in half at a specific point, I need the left-hand side and the right-hand side to look exactly like each other. Fold shape in half. Okay, so now, if we look at this trapezoid that I've got over here, what I can do is I can fold it right down the middle like this. Okay, I need to draw better. Let me do better. Let me actually use a shape. Let me use this. Okay. There we go. Oh, Lord, what did I do now? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, my OCD is kicking in, Teacher Cat, but that's okay. So if you guys notice, this blue line that I've drawn down the middle cuts my shape in two parts. And now you guys will notice that this part over here looks exactly like this part over here. Okay. Okay. I hope we're in agreement that these two shapes are exactly the same after I've cut the shape in half, right? Now, if I cut this in half and they look exactly the same, we call this line here in the middle a line of symmetry. I need you guys to write that down. It's very important. A line of symmetry. Okay. I want everyone, so that they remember what it's called, I want you to put it in the chat for me. Line of symmetry. Okay. And anything that's symmetrical means that if I cut it in half, this side is going to look exactly like this side. Okay. Thank you, Juria. Line of symmetry. Excellent. Spell it exactly the way that I've spelled it. No spelling error, guys. You can even cheat. I'm showing you how to spell it. Okay. Thank you, Ntiso. It's a line of symmetry. Okay, I'm going to wait for a couple more people to tell me about the line of symmetry. Thank you, Guguletu and Inati. I'm going to wait for, and Unati. Sorry, and Milani, thank you. I'm going to wait for a couple more. Roland says line of symmetry, aka reflection. Reflection is something completely different. So be very careful, Roland. This one is just a line of symmetry, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, line of symmetry. Good. Line of symmetry. Amazing. Thank you, Maschava. And everybody. Somila and Lona and Kaeliche. Okay, and Iminati. Thank you. It's called a line of symmetry. Okay, now, if I take this line of symmetry, and I'm going to wipe all of this away. If I decide to draw this line of symmetry over here, or if I decide to draw this line over here, does this make my shape symmetrical? Is this side over here the same as this side? Is it the same? No, it's not, right? It's not. Okay, of course not. What if I drew it like that, halfway like that? Do I have two shapes that look exactly the same? No, I don't. I don't. Good. So we're getting the idea that the line of symmetry needs to make sure that we have two lines that do the exact same thing. So how many lines of symmetry does this trapezoid have? Tell me in the chat. How many lines of symmetry do we have for this trapezoid? Thank you, Roland. Very, very fast. And Smita and Masichava, you guys are absolutely right. Milani, be careful. It's not 2. Where's the other one? There's only one. There are 2 shapes, but how many lines do we have that make 2 shapes that are exactly the same? Okay, it's only 1. Okay, this one only has 1 line of symmetry. Okay, now let's look at this triangle that we have on the other side. That's okay, Milani. That's okay. All right. Show me with this triangle over here, guys. Try and draw this triangle and tell me how many lines of symmetry can we find in this triangle. Bunolo says 1. Kaelisha says 1. And those of you who say 1, I need you to unmute and tell me where. I need somebody to unmute and tell me where. Oh, Luta says none. Luta, you really need to explain that to me. Roland also says 0. Andile says, okay, Andile, do you want to unmute? How many do you see? How many lines of symmetry do you see? Unmute for me.
1.
1. Okay, where did you find this one? Show us. Where would I start?
In the center here.
I can't start in the center. That's not going to help.
This line from down to the left.
Okay, so where do you want me to start? At this corner here, at the bottom here?
Here.
Here.
Yes.
Look at that. Okay, great. I think I see the line of symmetry that you're talking about. It's from here straight through the middle of this hypotenuse over here, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, I agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. This gives me 1/2 over here. That looks exactly like this half over here. Okay. And now those 2 shapes look exactly the same. So this one over here looks exactly like that one over here. So we already have 1 line of symmetry over here. Can we find another one? Is there possibly another one that we can find? Luto says no. I agree with you. Because if I try and cut it like, oh gosh, I'm doing such a great job. Okay, if I try and cut it like this, no, those don't look the same. Nope, doesn't look the same at all. And if I try and cut it down the middle like that, nope, I don't have the same shape. Okay, so there's no other way that I can possibly cut this so that it can give me another line of symmetry. I think the only one we would have is one from the center line over here all the way to the middle. So how many lines of symmetry does my triangle have? Just 1. Okay, now let's look at something a bit more complicated. What about this shape? Who can tell me what is this shape called? What is this shape called? Somebody says a heptagon, a hexagon, an octagon. What is it, guys? What is it? That's okay, Masbonge. Hello. Roland is saying septagon. Jeria says octagon. I see heptagon and octagon. Guys, which one is it? Which one is it?
There's a lot of
Says
There's a
decagon.
decagon.
Oh
my goodness.
guys. Okay. All right. Let's do a bit of counting. Okay. We can look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 sides is the same as an octopus that has 8 legs. So if it has 8 sides, that means it's an octagon. Octagon. Exactly. It's an octagon. Okay, very well done. All right, so I'm going to ask you guys, okay, to draw an octagon and tell me how many lines of symmetry can we find in an octagon? This might take you a while. I'll tell you, Roland, it might be 8, might be more. Nokwezi, yes, a spider also has 8 legs, but we don't call a spider anything with oct in it. That's why I used octopus, because it's not called an octospider. It's just called an octopus. Silas says there are 16 lines of symmetry. Silas, you're going to have to show us where they are. Milani says 2. Luto says 8. Jiria says 4. Kwezi also says 8. Lizuka says 2. Kaelisha 4. Is it 3 or is it 8? You have to pick one. Okay, let's do some investigating. All right. So the first one I can think of is this horizontal line that I see here. So right down the middle. Okay, and that's 1. And then I can draw, the vertical line. And then I can draw a horizontal line going this way. And that also makes my shape symmetrical. Okay, I'm doing terrible at drawing this at a good angle, right? But if I also cut it this way, that also gives me a line of symmetry. So that's 3 so far. And then if I cut it this way, that also gives me another line of symmetry. That's 4. However, if I cut it from here to there, there we go. That's another line of symmetry. And if I cut it from here to there, and I will move that one. Okay, I'm not doing such a great job. Okay, you guys get the idea. I'm moving it terribly. There's another one. And if I draw it from here to there, there's another one. And if I draw one from here to there, there's another one. And if I draw one from, did I miss one? Did I miss one? No, I think I've covered them all. Hey, Teacher Cat.
Yes, no, it looks like, all the corners
have been covered, right? Okay,
yes.
So let's count how many we have. I'm going to move them. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, not that one, this one. 7 and 8. Okay, well done. If you said 8. Okay, and Roland says, Miss, is it all from the tips? Some of them are. There's exactly 2 of them that are not, but the rest of them I started there and I ended there. And then I started there and I ended there. And then I started there and I ended there. I started there and I ended there. And then for the other ones, I went through the middle, horizontally, and through the middle, vertically. So if I had to count all of them up, there are 8 of them. Okay, so if you said 8, well done. If it was a guess, I hope you're not guessing next time you're actually calculating. Okay. All right, very nice, Roland. I love that attitude. Well done to anybody who said 8. Okay, now it's your turn. I want you guys to have a look at A, B, and C. Look at the shape very, very carefully and tell me how many shapes or how many lines of symmetry can you find in shape number 1A, in shape number B, in shape C. Melissa, before you put your hand up, go and have a look at the shapes and make sure you have an answer for A, B, and C. Okay. Nelisa dancing. I'm assuming you're dancing because this stuff is so easy. That's why we're dancing today.
Chosen emoji for the day.
Yeah, thanks. Nelisa chose the emoji for us for today. Luto says A is 1, B is 1, and C is 1. Tanweer says the same, but I don't trust it. Temba also says the same. Nah.
Look carefully, guys. Don't rush to finish.
Be careful. Be careful. Bonolo says all of them are 1. I do not agree. I disagree.
I don't either.
Not. Kieran, it's not all 1. Trust me. Tanweer says B is 2. You're not going to have to show us where the 2 is. Bonolo says C is 2.
I still don't agree.
I still don't agree. Jerry says 1, 2, 1. Keisha says C is 3. Ooh, now you're onto something.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're getting somewhere. All of you guys who keep giving answers, you guys are now, you're just guessing. You're just playing a game.
I was about to say, I feel like they're going to be like, well, then A is 10.
Yeah.
Don't guess,
1,
guys.
1, 2, 3, 4. No,
5,
guys.
10.
Make sure you're actually looking at them. Luandile, be careful with C. Tanweer, we caught you. All right, guys. Okay, let's start with number 1. Okay, I can only see a horizontal line that goes straight through here. And that for me gives me 2 shapes that are exactly the same. So I've got this half of my rectangle, my arrow, right? And this other half of my arrow over here, that's also the same. I don't see any other line of symmetry. And I agree with you guys. A only has 1 line of symmetry. B, for me, has also 1 line of symmetry that goes straight down the middle like that. And that shows that this part over here, this part is exactly the same as this part like that. And Bonolo is finally seeing why C has 3 of them, because it is an equivalent triangle, or an equilateral triangle as we call it. Very well done. So if we look at C, we can start from this tip here. And again, I just terrible at this. And if we put it here in the middle, come on. Sure. Okay, I'm doing a terrible job, guys, but you guys get the idea. I'm going to draw freehand. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay, there's 1. It's good enough, guys. It's good enough. Okay, there's 1 line of symmetry. And if I start at this corner here, going through, there's another line of symmetry. And if I go from this corner through, there's another line of symmetry. So this one has 3 lines of symmetry. Number B has 2 lines of, not 2, I'm lying. 1. It's because it's B, Teacher Cat. I was thinking B for 2. Okay, 1 line of symmetry. You were very close, Luandile, you were. And A also has 1 line of symmetry. All right, give me a thumbs up. How are we feeling? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat. I feel like this is very easy, guys. No, Kwesi says he's the brains here. Jiria, you're absolutely correct. 1, 1, 3. Okay, excellent. The only reason C's ones are not equal is because I drew them freehand, and I shouldn't have drawn them freehand. My drawing skills are not so great. Okay, now this is the easy part, guys. This is the easy part. What we've just been looking at is the easy part. Okay, but now we're going to learn about something called coordinate geometry, or in this place, just the coordinate plane. We'll get back to the coordinate geometry part much later, maybe grade 10, 11, or 12, somewhere there. Okay, we're going to be learning about the coordinate plane. Okay, and the coordinate plane is not as easy as it looks. Okay, Bunolo, if your hand is up, I'm going to assume that you have a question, my sweetie. Do you want to unmute and ask your question? Or, there we go. Andile, do you have a question? I'll take your question quickly before I get started. Hi, Andile.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
What's my question again? I forgot.
Okay, all right. You think about it while I continue, okay? All right, okay. So I hope you guys are seeing that, okay? We've got a horizontal line, okay? I'm hoping everybody's looking at my screen. I've got a horizontal line over here, right? horizontal line. And this horizontal line, if you'll see, guys, if you have a look over here, let me use pink because I like pink. You'll see that there's an X right next to my arrow. Okay. Right there, there's an X. And up top here, next to this vertical line, there is a Y. Okay, right here. There's a Y over here. Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading from this horizontal and this vertical line, almost as if we're reading off a map. Okay. Now, when we write the coordinates of this map or these lines, we're always going to start by looking at the X, all the values on the X-axis first. And what I mean is we're going to look for all the lines, all the values that are sitting on this line over here. And then afterwards, you guys can see that that is X. And then afterwards, we're going to look for all the values on the vertical line. And all of those values are going to be called Y. But I need you guys to remember that we must write it exactly like this. Write it like this. Like that. So when you give me an answer in the chat, I want you guys to first give me an open bracket and then the value for X, and I'm going to give you an example. And then you're going to give me the value for Y, and then you're going to close the bracket. Cheria says they had this in their exam. Sure. Your school is like on fire if you guys have it in your exam, trust me. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys an example. So if you guys will look over here, this coordinate over here is 2 and 3. Now, this 2 over here, okay, is my X coordinate. So I'm going to find it on my X line. And this 3 over here is my Y coordinate. So I'm going to find it on my Y line, my vertical line, not my horizontal, my vertical line. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to look for the number 2. There it is. There's 2 over here. And then I'm going to go onto the horizontal line, the vertical line. Oh my goodness. The vertical line. And I'm going to find 3. There it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving them towards each other until they meet at a point. So I'm going to take this 3 over here and I'm going to move it that way. And I'm going to take my 2, move it up. And that's where they meet, right over there. That's where they meet. And this point over here, I'm going to open a bracket and I'm going to write 2, and then I'm going to put a semicolon and I'm going to write 3. Okay. Do you guys see how I've done it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How do you guys understand how to do this one? I'm seeing a thumbs up from Maschaba and Luto and Sila.
Yeah, there are a few reaction lines.
Ilani's still a little confused. That's fine. We're going to do another example. Okay. We're going to do another example. Roland is feeling so confident. Tanya, it's fine. We're going to do another example, my sweetie. So Mila, relax. Okay. Okay. Let's look at another one. Okay. We're going to look at the coordinate 3 and 1. Okay. Now, remind me again. Where do I find 3? On which line? On which line do we find the 3? Is it on the X line or on the Y line? Can you guys tell me? Thank you, Milani. It's on the X line. Thank you, Roland. On the X line. So I'm going to go onto the line that has X, this line over here, this line here at the bottom, and I'm going to go look for the number 3, and I'm going to draw a dot. Like that. I'm going to draw a dot. Good. And then I'm going to go look for this number 1. Where do I find the 1? On the X line or on the Y line, guys? Thank you, Roland. On the Y line. Excellent, Milani. Excellent, Ntiso and Bulukang. Excellent. on the Y line. So I'm going to go to the Y line and I'm going to look on this line over here. I'm going to look for the number 1. There's my 1. There's 1. Oh, not black. I wanted blue. Because black and, now I'm saying black and blue. Blue and red make purple. That's why I'm choosing that. Okay, so there. Blue. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number 1 and I'm going to move it horizontally like that. I'm going to move it as a straight line like that. And then I'm going to take this red 3 and I'm going to move it up as a straight vertical line. And then I'm going to see that they meet over here at this point over there. And this point where they meet, that is open brackets, 3, yes, Unati, excellent, 1, semicolon 1, close brackets. Okay, Bonolo, do you have a question, my sweetie? Hi, Bonolo. Didn't you say that the number on the right is on the left? No, my sweetie. No. No. Remember, we read first the X number and then the Y number. That's how we read it. Okay, so there's no right number on the left. Okay, just try and follow the exact same way I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you guys. Okay, and if you're, Keisha says, ma'am, I understand, but ma'am, what happens to the right numbers? What do you mean the right numbers? Keisha, do you want to unmute and explain? I meant, oh, you meant X is on the right. No, my sweetie, X is never on the right. X is always on the left. Okay, so we always read it. This is your X value, and this is your Y value. Oh, those are, the ones that are negative. I absolutely get you. Okay, now I understand. Bonolo, look at this number. It's just a 2. Is this 2 positive or negative? Tell me in the chat. Anyone who can help her, go ahead. Okay, Keisha gets it. Bonolo, is it positive or negative, this 2 that we have here? It's positive, right? Because there's no number in front of it. It's positive. That's why I'm looking at the positive numbers. That's it. And we're getting to that next example. See, I'm looking at the positive numbers because this side is positive, right? Now, if we look at this example, let's look at this example down here. This is my X value. Okay. When I go and I look for my negative X value, I'm going to look over here. There's my negative X value on the left-hand side. Okay, because it's negative. Okay. Now, if I have to go and find my Y value, guys. Yes. Okay. Now, if I have to find my Y value, okay, guys, tell me, am I going to look at the top or at the bottom of my graph? It's a negative value. So is that at the top or at the bottom? Thank you, Roland. It's at the bottom. You guys get it? Okay, it's at the bottom because here are all my negative numbers. Here. Okay, so I'm going to go on this line over here and I'm going to go look for -4. There it is. So now this time, because both of these numbers are on this side, I can't draw this that way. I can't go, I'm not going to meet anything. I need to draw this line that way, the way that it's going to meet, right? So instead of drawing it this way, I'm going to draw it in the opposite direction. I'm going to draw my lines that way. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to draw it like this. And right here when they meet, here where they meet, can I ask everybody, please put the coordinate in the chat for me. I want you to put a comma, open brackets, give me a number, give me a semicolon, give me a number, and close your brackets. I want you to tell me, what is this dot over here that we just figured out? Tell me in the chat, everyone. Sharia, be careful. I went from this number over here. What is this number over here? And this number over here at the bottom, what is this number over here? There we go. Melissa gets it. Okay, Keisha, be careful. Ntiso, is it positive or is it negative? All right, Bonolo, bye-bye. Remember, if you need to still watch this, you can watch it online. No, Jiria, it cannot be any number. We need to make sure that if it's negative, we're writing it as a negative number. If it's positive, we're writing it as a positive number. Milani, be very careful. Which number comes first? My X value or my Y value? Thank you, Keisha. Good. So my X value comes first. Okay, let's try another one. Well done, Nelisa and Masichava. Well done. Okay, if I had to ask you guys to find me -3 and -2, tell me in the chat, guys, which one of these two is my X value? Which is my X value? By the way, this is -1 and -4. Good. I'm seeing it. Thank you, guys. My X value is -3. Where am I going to find my -3? Am I going to find it on my X axis or am I going to find it on my Y axis? Where am I going to find it? Melissa says X. Keisha, which one comes first, X or Y? X. Good. So I'm going to go look for it over here. Okay, I'm going to go and look for it over here. Now it's -3, as we see, it's -3. So I'm going to go to this side and I'm going to look for -3. And I see it right here. -3. There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to go look for this value. What is this value, guys? What is this value? Is it my X or my Y value? The one that I just highlighted in blue or just underlined in blue. Good, it's my Y value. Okay, so I'm not going to go to the top. I'm not going to go look at the top because at the top, all my values are positive. I want a negative value because this is -2. So I'm going to go to the bottom. Good, Roland says the bottom of Y. Excellent. So I'm going to go here to -2 down here. Right, good. Now I'm going to take my -3 and my -2 and I'm going to join them. And then I'm going to take my -3. And this is where they meet. Okay. Now, remember, guys, when you're going to write your coordinate for me, you're going to open brackets, give me a number, semicolon. Give me a number, close brackets. I want you guys to fill in these two numbers for me in the chat. Please give it to me exactly like this. Sila and Andile, remember which number comes first. Thank you, Smita and Roland. Well done, Jaria. Remember, do not put square brackets. It's always round brackets. Okay, square brackets mean something completely different in maths.
And negatives, Jaria.
Remember your negatives. Okay, because my X value is negative and my Y value is negative. Well done, Unati and Mbali. Milani, remember, round brackets and they need to be negative. Iminati, do not forget the negatives because this value over here is actually -2. It's not just 2. And this value over here is -3, not just 3. Okay, remember your negatives. Okay. I'm hoping to get a few more answers. Masichaba, thank you. And Andile, thank you. Mbali, do not forget your negatives, my sweetie. Remember, is my X value positive or negative? Is it positive or negative? Thank you, Juria. Okay, I'm going to wait for 2 more responses and then we're going to move on because I feel like not everybody in the class is participating. Good, Andile, they're negative. So you need to make sure that you're putting the negative in there. Thank you, Luto. Excellent. They're negative, Emerson. You're correct. Thank you, Unati. That's correct. Okay, now I want you guys to tell me, guys, I know we're supposed to have a brain break today, but we've had so much work. We're actually going to run out of time. We're not going to be able to do a brain break today. I promise, guys. Okay, Milani, if you don't have a round bracket or a negative, write the word negative or put an N there so we know that it's negative. Okay, I need you to put an N3 and an N2. Okay, so that we can tell that it's negative. Otherwise, it seems like you're just talking about positive numbers. Okay, we are done for today. I need you guys to tell me